Hello folks, and welcome to Hockenheim as the sun is going down, and welcome to Sebastian Vettel, your home race this weekend. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's nice to be at home. Racing in your own country, I think, is something very special, so I'm happy, that we have the race.
And we were talking earlier, and I said you've never won here, but I should have said you've never won here in Formula One. You've got happier memories from
Yeah,
from
I have.
outside of
Actually,
F1.
I have, but they're quite long ago now. But yeah, I mean, obviously the win here in Formula One is still outstanding. I don't know why. I think it never really came together, as far as I remember. Yeah, we were good on Saturdays. We had, I think, pole position, but then on Sundays always it seemed to just slip away. So now I think, yeah, it might be our last chance. We'll see. I hope the race doesn't disappear, but yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
That would be awful, wouldn't it? It's a great place to come back. It feels, I walked in through the gates this morning, and it kind of feels right, when you walk into this
the place has a lot of history, obviously. Unfortunately, I never did the old track. I never drove on the old track, but I think the place has
Can't
a
do
lot
that
of...
now.
No, they took it off. They planted trees.
We were up at Ostkurve today.
They should have left it there. Just for, I don't know, to go skating or...
But when you come down the
cycling.
back straight, it's so narrow.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable they used to race down there.
Yeah. But it's a place with history, Obviously, Jim Clark died many years ago here, which is now, is it 50 years ago? Yeah. So, yeah, it's a shame if we would lose the German Grand Prix.
You're a student of history, aren't you? You know your motorsport history, especially your Formula One history. It means a lot to you.
Not really, but I care. I mean, I like the sport, so I'm a fan, I mean, obviously I'm part of it now, but I've been a fan before, and I will be a fan afterwards, so...
Talking about fans, lots of them watching, sending in questions. So we'll start with a few of them. Vlad Dobrotanau, I hope I pronounced that right. Do you think Ferrari has what it needs to win manufacturers' championships?
Well, we need the speed. It's as simple as that. So speed kills, and that's what we need. So I think right now we are, a fair match in Silverstone. That's why we were so happy. The races before that, I think Mercedes had a little bit the edge. Now we see how the next races go, but we will need more speed because the others are pushing on. They're improving their car, and that's what we need to do as well. So until the very end, and then yes, I think we have what it needs.
Toto reckons you've got the best engine now. Can we ever take that as like that gospel truth, or is there always a little bit of?
Well, I'm happy if that's
gamesmanship?
true. So I'm surprised that he gives it up so easily, because obviously they've been very, very strong in that area. But obviously we tried everything to catch up, and I think it's very, very close.
Yeah.
It's not just raw power; it's also with the energy, how you manage, and then obviously some tracks are more sensitive than others. So it's a bit more complex nowadays. I think in the past it was easier to just say, okay, this guy has more power, this engine is the most powerful. Whereas now, yeah, it can vary a bit more from track to track. But we are a lot closer than we have been.
On that subject, Andreas Zlatic asks, what was the first time you reached 300 kilometers an hour? And what were your emotions like? Do you remember? Do you recall the first time you went that fast?
Well, it was in a Formula One car because I started driving quite early and I got the chance quite early. I think, no. Yeah, it must have been the first test I did in Jerez with a V10 at the time.
Wow.
Which was mega scary initially, but I think, I don't know which speed but more than 300. No, it wasn't so much the speed that was impressive, it was more the speed of the car through the corners, the grip, and the braking power. Initially,
everybody always, every Formula One driver always says that it's not the speed, it's the cornering, it's the downforce, but then the brakes as well that impress you. Why is it so different to other formulas?
Especially in the beginning, you don't have the strength in your head to keep your head up, so after a couple laps you just see the belts. But yeah, you have so much downforce in the corners, but also downforce when you hit the brakes to stop the car, so you can brake so late. And initially, I remember my head told me, hit the brakes. I hit the brakes, and then I was in the right gear way too soon. So then you had to convince your head to stop and keep your foot down, basically to be quiet, so you could keep your foot down and then eventually hit the brakes. So that's why I guess it's so impressive initially.
Very cool. Very cool. Juso Peltonen asks, Do you trade information when setting up the car with Kimi, or are your driving styles too different to benefit from each other?
No, we share everything, so it's very transparent. Also with Kimi, there's no holding back. Whereas, in the past, it would be wrong to say that this guy was holding back, but there were some things, you try to maybe lead a little bit the wrong direction, whatever. So with Kimi, and which is something I really appreciate. There's no bullshit, as he puts it always. So
Very
sorry,
cool.
but yeah.
It's the internet. It's all right. Emiliano Hernandez, do you ever get afraid or nervous to lose a race?
I think it's very natural to be afraid and to be afraid of failing and losing. I think that's something nobody talks about, but I think it's something very natural. And if everybody would be honest, then there's no weakness I find to admit, because nobody likes to do something and be bad at it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You always try for your best. But I think the chance to do well is greater or outweighs the fear to fail, because that's why you ultimately, I guess, keep going or try again and again and again. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're afraid to fail.
Is the fear of failure what keeps you going ultimately? Is it what makes you want to carry on winning? It's getting quite deep.
Yeah, if you fail all the time, maybe, but hopefully you don't. But what I meant is, you can't always win, you can't always succeed, so it's normal to fail, but there's a lot of positives in that as well. You try and you learn a lot from it, and eventually then you get better and don't fail anymore with everything in life, not just racing.
Ima Orino asks, what is one thing we don't know about you?
I
Probably
don't tell
more
you
than one
otherwise.
thing. Yeah, because they
Then
don't
you
know
know,
it.
so keep it for me.
Annie Hill, who do you get on with the most out of all the other drivers?
Like ever or right now?
Yeah, right now and ever.
I don't know. It's a bit like, I feel it's a bit like school class. You like some and you don't like others, sometimes for a reason, sometimes for no reason. Probably Timo.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, but I found right away with Timo back then, and I still get along very well with him now, that even though there was a bit of an age gap, now it disappears when you get older, but when you're young, it's somehow there. But with him, it never seemed to be there. And he's coming also from this area, very close, and then you naturally have something that connects you. But I think he's a fantastic guy.
He's a cool guy, isn't he? He's a very cool guy. Right, Lily Wayne, do you have a plan to race the Indy 500?
No, I don't have a plan. I don't know what is on the plan in a couple of years, but I don't know. The oval races don't attract me as such, but then I don't think it's fair to judge because I haven't done it, I haven't tried it. But I can see the attraction in, the racing, because there's a lot going on for a long time. So everybody says it's fun, but
did you talk to Fernando about it when he came back?
Not really. And Fernando and me, we don't talk so much. I don't know why, but we don't.
Is he the kid that sits over the other side of you in class?
Yeah, but for no reason. So I don't know. I don't know why. But
a mental thing?
Sorry?
Do you think it's a mental
No,
thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I have no problem with him. I don't think he has a problem with me, but it's just not clicking. You know what I mean? No, I didn't ask him actually, but I wouldn't take it off the list now, but it would be a lie to say it's on the list.
Okay. What would you do if you're not an F1 driver? From Vochnid to Jamo. That's a nice question. If you weren't an F1 driver, if you'd never done
ultimately,
this.
I don't know. But
it's hard, a hard question, right?
Yeah, but I like cars, so hopefully it would be something with cars, being involved with motorsports, racing, cars in general. I was looking around after I did my high school to go to uni and study something technical, so engineering. So I would do something like that, I guess.
Like a designer or
I don't know, the designing bit, I'm not sure if I'm creative enough. But I like numbers. So
strategist, maybe. The maths never lies, apparently.
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't know if I had made it to F1 as a strategist, because you need to be quite good, but yeah.
Which Schumacher record do you want to beat the most? Or do you want to beat the records? Is it a hard thing?
They're all quite bad to beat. They're so far away. Well, if again, being logical and liking numbers, I think if I'd say the wins, which for me is the most extreme record,
Yeah.
then I do pretty well with all the other stuff as well, because if you win more than 90 races, then you have a pretty good chance to win a lot of championships as well. So I go for the wins.
Okay, perfect. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I know it's a massively busy weekend for you and hugely stressful, so thank you for your time. Thanks for answering the questions. I'm sure everyone at home wishes you well, and yeah, best of luck this weekend, man.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Danke. Thank you.